Hello, and welcome to another Rang Rouge unit of the week. And today we're taking a look at the 221. Well, the 221 is actually a pretty boring unit. It's not really much to it. It's just a scout car transport with a machine gun. It's pretty boring. So let's just take a look at his cooler brother instead. The 221 Panzerbeute 41, available to the 17th SS Panzer Grenadier Division. The Panzerbeute 41 is a 28mm anti-tank weapon. You could argue whether it's a gun or a cannon, but we're really getting into semantics then. Used by the German military during the Second World War. It has a rather interesting way of shooting its ammunition with the squeeze bore principle. Essentially, the diameter of the shell as it travels through the barrel of the gun is squeezed through and it's become smaller and smaller and smaller, eventually allowing the propellant to put more pressure on a smaller area, making the shell go farther, higher velocity, higher penetration rate, makes it much more deadly. The British will also experiment with this sort of weaponry with the Little John adapter for their 40mm 2-pounder gun, but overall these squeeze-ball guns would eventually fall out of favour and never really got anywhere past the Second World War, as the perfection of Sabot ammunition, which was much easier to produce as you didn't have to use special soft metals that would allow it to be squeezed through the barrel, and it was just much more effective. But anyway, the Germans would end up using these with more lightly armed divisions such as mounted infantry, paratroopers, etc. It was a rather decent anti-tank weapon for that role, and of course they'd mount it on top of vehicles, one of those vehicles being the 221. In-game, the 221 Panzerbeute 41 is a 40-point recon transport available exclusively to the 17th SS in A phase, and it has one weapon. The weapon being the Panzerbeute 41. 5 accuracy, 15 rounds a minute, 8 AP with 50 rounds of ammo, no HE, and 800 meter range. It's a pretty decent little close range AT weapon. Not the best AP in the world, to be entirely frank, but with 15 rounds a minute it can shoot out your shots rather quickly. Pop down to miscellaneous stats. It's got 2 armor all around and it is an open top vehicle. It has a stealth of bad, 30 kilometers off road and 85 kilometers on the road, low optics capability, and a very light transport capacity. It can only carry 2-man squads. In battle, the 221 Panzerbeute 41 is not exactly a useful unit. It's not a must-have. It's a very good reason you barely see this unit being used in really any battles, even if you're only playing against 17th SS most of the time, as they're the only guys who can bring it up. It's because in A phase this does have a bit of a role. It can deal with light armor such as half-tracks, Stuarts, staghounds, somewhat pretty efficiently in A phase. Once B phase it's completely worthless. Once a lot of Sherman's common line, what are you going to use this thing for? It's absolutely buggered at that sort of thing. And in A phase, for 17th, it's not like you're really lacking in anti-tank weaponry. You can get an A phase Pak 40, you can get an A phase 2-star Stug 3, you got Pak 38, you got a lot of Stormtroopers with Panzerfaust, you got Panzerschrecks. You're doing pretty well for A phase AT for 17th SS. This isn't really a must-have because of that, and it's only used for an A phase, so there's no point really taking it. It comes with a 2-man recon squad, which is cool. It's a very nice combination of these sorts of vehicles. There's a 2-man recon squad, can spot stuff and it can shoot stuff. But also it only does AP damage. It has no high explosive damage whatsoever, not even a bloody machine gun. So you are completely buggered if enemy infantry come close. You can't do anything about that. And that's what makes this pretty bad. If this had at least a machine gun, I think it'd be a bit more serviceable. But because it's only a mediocre AT weapon that only has 800 meters, by the way, so you still have to get rather close to penetrate Stuarts and staghounds. But also at the same time, a Pak 36 at 800 meter range has 7 AP, so you're not really, you're not really gaining very much. So at the same time, you can't get Pak 36s for 17th SS, so it's a bit of a weird comparison. But yeah, it's not really that worthwhile. The 221 Panzerbeute 41 is. And speaking of regular 221, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, if you can get a regular 221, you might as well get a 222, and we will be talking about next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as usual, please just take it easy.